So we want to kind of see what's going on with the piping and at a smaller application now. Looked at the deep water drilling, the large deep water drilling site. But let's take a look at this one pass directional drilling. And once again, these are larger machines, but the true value of these is going to be at a residential level. So the guy that can start to miniaturize these concepts has a real future. Oh no.
The main arteries of our daily lives. They affect both our industrial and domestic well-being. As pipelines installed underground are unseen, the general public does not always pay them the attention they deserve. The importance and value of a well-functioning pipeline infrastructure becomes evident as soon as failures occur, because the effects of these failures are often drastic for the parties concerned. Damaged sewers are no exception. The exfiltration of wastewater pollutes the groundwater. The infiltration with penetrating freshwater is an unnecessary burden for the wastewater treatment plants. Thus, the improvement and maintenance of water and gas supply pipelines and sewer drainage pipelines should have absolute priority. The worldwide effort for the renovation and replacement of sewage pipelines has reached alarming dimensions. Repair or renovation is not always possible. At the latest, when the pipe is no longer sustainable in its structure or even hydraulically overburdened, it has to be renewed. Many pipe renewal projects are carried out using the pipe bursting method, thus without open trenches. This method comes along with an enormous cost advantage. Also, construction and traffic aspects, as well as resident interests, increasingly call for trenchless methods.
So you might think I'm some kind of parasite, but this, once again, this is a way you could use existing infrastructure to install your thermal loops in cities where there's, larger scale, larger buildings.
There are two different pipe bursting methods, dynamic and static. When dynamic pipe bursting is being applied, a pneumatic hammer or ramming machine is propelled through the old pipe with the assistance of a winch, which performs the actual pipe bursting operation.
And you notice that would compact. There's no tailings involved. It would compact the periphery of the bore and give you better conductivity, such that the grouting could harvest more heat.
Whilst simultaneously pulling in the new pipe size for size, or upsizing of existing pipelines is also possible. A hydraulically driven static pipe bursting rig pushes the quick lock rods up to 200 meters into the internal line of the old pipe. On arrival in the target pit, the bursting tools with the new pipe are connected. While the rods are being pulled back in, the old pipe is fragmented and displaced, and a new pipe of equal or larger pipe diameter is pulled in at the same time. Under favorable conditions, the rods can be pulled back through the rig and simultaneously pushed into the rear-facing mains, ready for the next bursting operation. A highly productive solution. The time needed for the rod string assembly and disassembly for an entire two-way mains replacement length is thus saved. House connections can be installed or replaced directly from out of the pit or the manhole to the interim pit without open trenches. Some sewer lines are made of brittle materials like vitrified clay, concrete or grey cast iron.
So when you avoid digging the trench, you don't upset the landscaping, and there's no tailings to deal with as far as piles of dirt and the time involved. So that it costs less, has less impact, and is more eco-sensitive.
In such cases, a bursting cone and sleeve is utilized, which shatters the defective pipe into small shards and displaces them into the surrounding soil. Materials which are hard to break, for example steel, ductile cast iron or plastic, are cut open with a cutting or roller blade and pushed apart with an expander. Pipe manufacturers have developed pipes with functional protective coatings which conform to the requirements of pipe bursting. Industrially produced and tested pipes, mainly made of high-density polyethylene, polypropylene high modulus of elasticity, as well as cross-linked polyethylene plastic pipes supplied as single or coiled lengths, but also cast iron.
The cross-linked polyethylene, what you would see, that would be our application in as far as the residential is concerned.
Steel, stoneware, and polymer concrete pipes can be installed.
Unsere Kunden wissen, entscheidend für
Our customers know quite well, if success on the job site is what is required, you must have reliable equipment. That is why our quick lock bursting rods are so popular. Unlike the screwed rods, they're easy to connect quickly and are labor saving, even under the most difficult on-site conditions. Rod disassembly is just as simple and no special operating tools are necessary. Dirt on the coupling parts raises no problems at all. The engineered contours of the quick connectors make sure that the rods are stable when pushing. You can push them into several 100-meter-long mains without any problems. The support of an auxiliary winch is not required. Anyone who's ever worked with the quick-lock pipe bursting rods from Traktotechnik will never want to use other rod types again. An interesting new feature is the double-action system just coming into operation with the Grundobust 1250 CP rig. CP stands for continuous pull or push and means continuous pushing or pulling of the rods without interruption. The Grundobust
The problem is that when you stop movement, then it takes more energy to start it up again, so the continuous movement just kind of greases it in there. There's quite an advantage.
technique, with its broad range of applications, covers the diameters from ND50 to ND1000 and can be used for bursting and replacing almost any old pipe material. Power application is line speed and time controlled. The controlled pulling forces are continuously measured at the new pipe according to technical standards. The bursting rig can be mounted in pits and manholes. Thanks to its universal design, the rig design allows the performance of pipe bursting, pipe relining and swage lining jobs with the same basic equipment. The Traktotechnik TT Group renewal technology is widely accepted and applied worldwide. British Gas was the initiator of the pipe bursting method. At the end of the 70s, the company found a simple alternative for renewing gas lines: the soil displacement and ramming Grundocrack technique from TT. In the meantime, more than 50,000 kilometers of pipes worldwide have been replaced using the dynamic and static pipe bursting methods.
Pipe bursting has a long tradition here in the United Kingdom, and the Grundobust is considered to be both reliable and easy to use.
In Russia, we need a reliable, robust and maintenance-friendly technology. We have every reason applying the pipe bursting technology of Traktotechnik. Pipe bursting has the edge over other methods in China's large and densely populated cities. The quality of the pipe bursting technology with Grundobust has convinced our customers. People have started talking about it. Now its application is rapidly growing.
You can imagine yourself, we're going to look at some trenching, where you just go out in the field. If you have the ground, you can just trench and lay pipe in that respect. But then you have to bed the pipe, and here, as it compacts the surrounding area as you pull the pipe through, it does a whole bunch of good things all at once, and you can do it from 2 pits. So you just dig a couple of trenches and then set your loops up from trench to trench. So in a big grid pattern, if you have the ground to do that. If not, then you use the radial drilling, geothermal radial drilling techniques that we've looked at earlier. Hey, okay, so looks like we're having a little bit of trouble with some of the links, but looking ahead here, your assignment, you see how there's a little difference between where we have the websites, YouTube a lot of times, and then the actual assignments. They look a little different. So here's our week 9 term paper. You should have decided on a topic for your term paper. What I like about geothermal energy, and this will be submitted in week 12. If we go back and see where the term paper was first introduced here. Week 7. So there's your information as far as now's the time to start thinking about an area of geothermal energy that you're interested in, any facet. And the big thing is extra credit if you can find an aspect of geothermal that I have not included in your course. And you can see that there's all kinds of little nooks and crannies and niches that you could pursue, like miniaturization of some of these larger drilling rigs would be one. Uh-oh, I just talked about it though, huh? So, sorry. But I would think that that would be a real moneymaker for somebody that would miniaturize some of these rigs and make them affordable and get a company going installing, or actually start building the rigs, get some funding and get a company going building and selling the rigs themselves. What about that median temperature lab? Whoa. Submit your data to allow for the 14 days, 28 recorded temperatures. You can correlate your data on Excel or other forms you find appropriate. Please find your submission link below, and that's supposed to be opened up already. Let's see where that's at. So it looks like I have some editing to do to get this median temperature lab submission link up and at them. Don't worry about that. There'll be a button that you click on, and then it'll allow you to submit. There is a quiz also, this topic 9. Get down here, we're going to look at some geothermal titans here. Geothermal in Canada, plant operation binary cycle power plants, and a lot of that was included up here, fracking and drilling. Now let's take a look at our week 9 enhanced engineering geothermal quiz. Week 7 enhanced geothermal systems, 10 questions. You have 2 attempts, 60 minutes each. If you completed the assignment, this quiz should be easy. Remember to choose the best answer. So you might have an answer that's kind of correct, but you'll have an answer that's very good. And that's how kind of make it somewhat of a little bit of a challenge, not too subjective. EDC's geothermal titan, the world's largest. Guess where it is?
This is not just big. It is the biggest. An engineering triumph. A mastery of geothermal science. This is the world's largest wet steam field geothermal power facility in the world. Sprawled over an area more than 100,000 hectares. Producing over 701 megawatts of clean energy. Home to many technological breakthroughs. A geothermal titan, both in green energy generation and engineering achievement. This is the Energy Development Corporation's Leyte Geothermal Power Complex. The Geothermal Titan. The Leyte Geothermal Power Complex is located in the Philippines, along the geothermal-rich Pacific Rim of Fire. It sits on the borders of Ormoc City and the Cananga municipality in the region of Leyte, where there is plentiful resource. Going back to the 1970s, it was envisioned as a long-term solution to the energy crisis. To bring this titan to life, world-class engineering led the way. Engineering fit only for the world's largest wet steam field. Ours is a showcase to many groundbreaking homegrown innovations that
Remember, wet steam, as opposed to dry steam, so then they ended up with a lot of, shall we say, byproduct or wastewater associated with that.
became the benchmark in the industry. Our pioneering geoscientists were the first to delineate the underground reservoirs that sparked the power of steam in Leyte. We piloted the 3-megawatt Tongonan power plant, making us the first to operate a commercially viable steam field in the Visayas. We developed new ways on how to explore, develop, produce, and manage entire geothermal systems. We pioneered the design and use.
Just kind of keep your head on that. Explore, develop, and produce.
Of topping and bottoming plants that optimize power plant output. We are the first to test a vertical discharge diffuser that allows prolonged well discharge testing but protects the surrounding environs. And the first to demonstrate that geothermal is most compatible with environmental preservation through our pioneering work in environmental impact assessment. Today, Leyte Geothermal Power Complex supplies 37% of the Philippines' total geothermal installed capacity. We designed and built the Steamline Interconnection, a pipeline superhighway, the first of its kind in the world. It runs 96 kilometers long, allowing flexible management of our steam resources from different production fields to our power generating assets. A wonder of a vital installation that cradles the most number of power plants in the world. 232.5 megawatt Malitbog, 180 megawatt Mahanagdong A and B, 125 megawatt Upper Mahiao, 112.5 megawatt Tongonan 1. From the island of Leyte, submarine high-voltage direct current links spread across the National Electric Highway, spanning Samar, Cebu, Negros Island, Panay, and Luzon. Delivering an alternative supply to thousands of households and major industries in the South, making it as the virtual linchpin in the National Electric Highway. The cycle of infinity drives our ultimate vision of becoming a true world leader in renewable energy. We believe that clean, green, sustainable energy is the way to move forward. This is our way of doing business, a holistic approach, our way of life. Our recycling process follows the natural cycle of reservoir replenishing. Using injection technology, we are able to maintain the resource integrity of our steam fields for more than 25 years now. We can do this because we are also stewards of Leyte's precious watershed systems, taking care of more than 100,000 hectares of a reservation that sustain our business and the diverse ecosystems around us. We implement extensive and sustained biodiversity monitoring to ensure that we coexist harmoniously with forest and fauna. And through the Binhi Reforestation Program, we are actively bringing back prime endangered indigenous trees to our forests and to our host communities and nearby cities. The people
At this scale, you'll see that they'll have an entire forestry or reforestation and agricultural sub-department.
Around our sites become partners in our success and us in theirs. Creative partnerships have built curriculum-based schools that allow poor children access to basic education par excellence. Alternatively, training centers that produce the world's finest nation builders. Community partnerships synergize farmers and women's groups to build small businesses and livelihood programs. The LATID.
Another aspect, the financial aspect, funding. We're going to talk more about that also.
Geothermal Power Complex. Empowered by Promethean vision. Built by great minds and hands that opened new frontiers. A titan that is set to spread to the world infinite power and infinite possibility. We energize. We deliver. We sustain power. We sustain life. We are the Energy Development Corporation. Sustainable power. Limitless potential.
That was a surprise to me when I first saw that.